Hello, mild-mannered people, deep in the heart of Southern Illinois, and wherever the heck these two guys are from. It is now the seventh hour. Do you know where your burrito is? Well, dang it. There it is. All right. Whoops. We stop that. Hello, everybody. Hebrew77 here, and this is the real intro. And welcome to Warped Reality Wednesday. I don't know. I just thought that would be a little funny spoof. What did you guys think?
It definitely would fit a Warped Reality Wednesday, I guess.
Yeah. And to be quite honest, you actually did Dan's voice pretty darn good. It almost sounded like him. It really did.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Thanks, man. Well, hey, you know what? I didn't introduce you guys. That was foolish of me. We have on the panel tonight, we have Sagittarily Speaking and Armor Up. There you go.
All right.
If they ain't figured out the only two that'll hang out with you on a regular basis by now, they never will.
Yeah, I know. At this point, I don't really feel like, I guess there's always that one guy that's just showing up for the first time. You might need to know.
That's true. Doubtful, but true.
Lorraine.
That person that hasn't sat through a whole show yet and is like, this might be good.
Were they in for a surprise?
Lorraine Lamar says, I didn't order a burrito. Uh-oh. It really is Warped Reality Wednesday.
Yeah. It's hard to know where it's hard to know where your burrito is if you never ordered one, I guess.
So, Armor, we all saw your Wednesday word.
I was very disappointed that it wasn't an autobiography.
That was good. Well, it sort of is. It's all of our autobiographies if we're doing it right.
Yeah, that's true. Honestly, it took me almost halfway through the video before I started to figure it all out. Like the guy that was explaining it there at the beginning, he was like, it was like he didn't want to reveal his hand too early. He wanted to keep everybody guessing as to who the old man really was,
Yeah. Well, he took a lot of time explaining both sides in the beginning before saying that they're the same side, basically. Like you said, they would ask Paul, so is he dead or did we kill him? And Paul would say, yes. Absolutely.
And I thought that was interesting. Lohar was talking about that the song. What was it? Neil Young.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite Neil Young songs. I got that old album, Harvest Moon.
I was shocked.
Because that line does stand out in that song. Now that you hear this reference, it's too much alike for it not to be taken from the Bible. You think?
I would think Neil was sending a message. That's probably why it was always one of my favorite songs.
Yeah.
It always sent a message like that for me, anyhow. Even when I was a bad guy. So
right.
The
other song that always stuck out for me was, and I'm not really much into Leonard Skinner, most of their stuff. I mean, I like a few of their songs, but that Simple Man, those songs, Simple Man?
Oh, yeah. Seen Skinner
Yeah.
many times.
Yeah.
Yep, that's another great one.
Yeah, whenever that comes on the radio, I crank it up pretty loud.
There's the Yardbirds, Mister, You're a Better Man Than I. It's one of my favorite songs.
Yep.
From way back in the day. That's in one of my videos somewhere.
But yeah, you had another great Wednesday word. I'm sitting here talking to you guys. I totally forgot we were live.
Yeah. Hey, Dave. Dave and Lorraine. Welcome, Dave and Lorraine. Oh, yeah, Dave. That's the Wednesday word. It was a pretty good one this week.
Yeah, I was actually cleaning while listening to it. I finally got motivated. I've been telling Hebrew for the last 2 days I need to get up and do more cleaning. Because yesterday, my brother said he was coming over, but then when he got here, he didn't even come in. He just dropped off what he came to drop off and pulled right back out the driveway. So I swept and mopped the floor and everything for nothing, but I didn't pick up like all my clothes. I didn't clean off my table. I still had a whole bunch left to do. I finally got up and did it today. I did it while I was listening to Wednesday Word, actually.
There you go. Get a message and get some work done.
Yep.
Am I too early?
Too early for what?
I'm either too early or too late for St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, you're definitely one or the other.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to get out the actual pumpkin mask and put it on, be like, hey, look, I've changed. I'm more animated now. But no, I won't do that. Okay. Just being silly, guys.
No, not you.
Never me. That's not my style. I'm serious all the time. Check this out. Can't you tell? The sincerity by the eyes of my pumpkin.
Yep. Lorraine Lamore said you dressed as a time traveler.
Yeah, that's what that is. I came back from March and thought I'd visit October. Thought I'd visit you guys in October. I see we're doing okay. I'll have to go back to the past and tell myself that.
That's the part about the time travel movies that always cracked me up is how, and especially the ones that are kind of comedic, how they can always go back and leave themselves a note or a weapon or something to get out of the situation when they get to that spot, Because if you really think about it, if you could just do that, you could leave the note. Why not just go ahead and just change everything? Why just leave the little note?
Well,
Why not just go to reveal everything and totally correct the situation? But I mean, I get that it's for a movie's purpose and it,
sure.
The plot and all that. It'd be a boring movie if you just went back in 10 minutes, corrected everything, and the movie was over, right?
Oh yeah. That's the thing about true time travel. If it was real, true time travel would mean that you, like, let's say I'm 42 years old right now. Let's say I wanted to go back into 1984 or 1985 or whatever the case may be, and I go back there. My other self would not be a grown man of me. My other self would be the little guy of me, like little Hebrew.
Well, like how far back you going?
I'm talking about like 1985.
Okay, how old were you then?
Let's see. I was born in 77. So what about 10? No, 9.
Yeah, 8 even.
Maybe 8. Yeah.
All right.
The thing is, in real time travel, you leave a piece of yourself. Like, you can't fix whatever's going on in the future. Like, you can't go to the future and fix whatever is going on and go back to the past, and it'll be changed because you yourself are traveling to the future, or traveling to the past, and whatever went on during the past would have already gone on because you're already you're you
Your future self is already there. I
right.
see what you're saying. All
Yeah.
right, I'm with you. Now,
Mhm.
here's my deep philosophical question about um, the time travel parody, I guess, for lack of a better way of wording it. Um, Anytime you watch a time travel movie, the person that travels back in the time is always looking to to change the future. Like, and there's a sense of urgency to change some imminent thing that's going to happen in the future. Right? Are you with me so far?
Mhm.
All right. So every day when we wake up, okay, like tomorrow morning when you wake up, you're not going to have that mentality, but you could. You could wake up and be like, "Oh my God, I just traveled to this day from the future. I have to have a sense of urgency to change whatever imminent thing is going, could possibly happen. I need to, to correct any wrongs that I may need to correct. Why don't we look at it that way every day when we wake up as a possible, as if we had just came from the
Mm.
future to fix what we need to fix? We don't have that sense of urgency or that sense of I need to do
Right.
right, or I need to. I'm not saying we don't or we do. I'm just saying it would. What I'm saying is you should put more of that mentality into just
Right.
your everyday life.
Because in reality, the future is now. It's like you have a chance every day, like every day that the Father breathes life and new life into you, and you're able to wake up and not be dead. Then you have a chance to make that brand new day your day. Like you have a chance to do the right things that day. I see
Yeah.
what you're saying. Yeah.
You got any thoughts on that, Armor?
Oh, I'm still laughing from waking up and not being dead.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that's
It's
always
Yeah.
a
always a good day
plus.
when you wake up and you ain't dead. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Because I
Or
woke
when
up
you
dead
fall.
once or twice, and that ain't fun. I'm telling you. Get over it. Well, no, absolutely. I mean, that's why, when people start wanting to talk about end times or stuff like that, it's like, well, I've said before, you better think of today as your end times. I wouldn't worry so much about the end of the times as realizing none of us are promised the next day. So
Right.
you
Yeah. It
better
goes
live
right back
today
into
like
that old
you
parable. Yeah.
Yeah. So that ties right into that. Yeah. Live every day like it's your last. Because it could be.
Very true. Very true. I just had a conversation with my father about 3 or 4 days ago, and he was telling me his health isn't doing so well. He's had several heart surgeries, and I guess one of the last surgeries they actually put a valve in his heart from the valve of a pig's heart. I
Mhm.
never heard of that before, but apparently it's something they do now.
They've been doing
And
that forever. Yep.
Yeah,
okay,
it's better than a plastic one. I think the only disadvantages, I think, like there are disadvantages to a plastic one, like you don't live as long or something like that, is what they were saying. Your life expectancy is shortened, but if you put a pig valve in there, your life expectancy is supposedly a lot better chances of survival rate than if you do the plastic valve. I think that's what I heard, or maybe it's reversed, but supposedly it's better for you to put in the pig's valve. Is what I'm. That's what I'm getting at.
That's
all
for
right.
sure.
Well, I had just never heard of it before.
Yeah, my buddy had a bunch of heart attacks. He had big valves put in once or twice. But he
But
had
anyway,
several heart attacks before he passed.
we got into the discussion of of what he's, his final wishes, his will and testament. This was he going to leave this to me and leave that to my brother. And I mean, we got about halfway through the conversation, and on one hand, I'm like, I'm glad we're having this conversation, Dad, because I need to know what your wishes are. I would like, I mean, so many times, so often people pass and they don't express that
Mhm.
before they pass, and then the whole family's just, in a state of turmoil. But on the other hand, I don't like the fact that you're sitting there acting like this is going to be the last time we ever talk to each other, like your death is imminent, like, in the next few days you're out of here. So it was really a contradicting conversation, the way I, emotionally, the way I felt about it.
Yeah, it's a rough conversation, no doubt. I know exactly what you mean. It's like, well, don't talk like that. You know what I mean? You'll be around forever. But yeah, like you said, it's best to have the conversation. At least then you know.
Right.
Yeah, that's one thing. My aunt and uncle, before they passed, they would never talk about death, and they would never talk about what was in their will, and they never talked about even so much as making a will. They didn't like to talk about that subject, and of course, naturally, we all don't like to talk about it, but it does eventually have to come up. It definitely has to be talked about. And what I'm getting at in that situation was nobody could find the will. Nobody knew what their last wishes was. Nobody knew what exactly where to go and what to do and all this stuff. It was all a jumbled mess that simply could have been avoided if that conversation had taken place. And again, yeah, it's a hard conversation, and nobody wants to hear that their loved ones are going to die. We'd like to think that they're going to be around forever, but the truth of the matter is, um, they're not. And you gotta eventually have that conversation. Everybody does.
Right.
Eventually.
I think
And,
the
and then,
problem,
go ahead.
I was going to say, I think the problem is also that most of us wait till we're a lot older and facing that fact that we're going to die someday before we bring the conversation up. You know what I mean? It might be easier to bring it up to your child or whatever, whoever you're talking to about it when you're far away from that point. You know what I mean? Talk about it when you're 40 or 45
Mhm.
or,
Right. Or at least have a
or some,
conversation.
some pass
uh,
at that time too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But don't wait till
Right.
it's so close to the end to bring up the conversation. That definitely makes it harder.
Yeah, I can see how that's true. And then the other thing worth noting was, I went online after our conversation, and I wanted to, because a lot of that kind of stuff is hereditary, health issues and stuff like that. So I wanted to look up like heart issues, because my dad has a heart murmur. That's one of the
Mm.
problems, and even after they replace that valve, he still has the slight murmur. And I've
Yeah,
never,
I've always had a heart murmur. It's pretty wild.
and I don't know. I have something going on with my heart, like where when I remember last time I got a checkup or whatever, they said it makes a
Oh
wispy
yeah.
noise, like after the boom boom wisp, boom boom wisp, and they said it's normal. That not all hearts do it. Some hearts do, some hearts don't. So anyway, I got to looking some stuff up online, and what I came across was this was kind of an interesting tidbit of information, and you guys may or may not already know this as well, but I'll share it anyway.
Okay.
Um, when you have a heart attack in your 30s or 40s, your odds of survival, if it's a full fledged heart attack, are really slim. It's like 10 to 20%.
Yeah.
If you're that age, because it's just because there's no alternate routes, I guess is the way of putting it. And then, like, when you get up into your 50s and 60s, you got more of like a 50-50 chance. And when you get up into your 60s and 70s, and it's probably not your first heart attack, your odds of survival climb up into the 70, 80, 90%. Of you making it to the hospital before you die, and them getting to put you on a machine, and you being able to at least live. And the reason for this is apparently over the years, as you grow older and you get these blocked valves, your heart actually creates alternate routes for the blood to get across. Like it creates new pathways. It creates a new artery or a sidebar off of the artery, like a bypass, you might say. If you think about it as as a flowing traffic, a side ramp for the blood to get through. So you start to build a network of these as you get older. So it's a lot harder for you to have a fatal heart attack. I was unaware of that.
You bring up a good point. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, man.
No, I was just going to say that's interesting. I never knew that either. But to tie into what we were saying before, for instance, our kids all know basically what me and the wife want. Not that we're near dying or hopefully going to be around for a while, but they already know. And it wasn't like a talk. I mean, it ain't got to be like it. We just one day tell them, hey, we want this. When we die, this is what we want. This is what we want. So they already know. And it wasn't awkward at all, really, talking with them because they're like, yeah, whatever, because
Right.
it's there. Now it's out there. So they know.
Right.
So again, so don't wait till it's looming to talk about it. Just talk
Or
about
at the very least, if you got a life insurance policy and a will, and you're wanting someone to be the your estate manager or whatever, make that public knowledge in your family before you pass away, so that they will know where to go get these documents, because nobody knows where they're at. They're going to be going through all your old boxes and all your old stuff, trying to figure out which box it's in, which room you kept it in, and it's just it makes a tragic situation worse, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh,
Yep.
Yeah, and sagittarically speaking, I got a question for you that's health related.
All right, I'm all ears.
That you might not want to answer on air, but I'll ask anyway.
Okay.
No, it's not nothing like that. It's health related, man.
All
I
right.
notice there's a lot of times like you smoke, like you said, and I notice there's a lot of times where you're making the noise like you're snoring and whatnot. My question is, have you ever been diagnosed with sleep apnea?
Yes.
Okay.
But I don't have the CPAP or anything like that, because I just never went and did it. I mean, there's been times since I've been diagnosed that I've had the insurance and could have made the appointment. I think one time I even did. I just never actually went. I don't know. It's something I need to do and I haven't done.
Well, I mean, there was a good reason why I asked that, because I did notice like you do kind of tend to have a little bit of a breathing issue and whatnot. My wife, and there's the other reason why I brought it up, is because my wife has the same thing, and she does have a CPAP machine, and the thing is, the CPAP machines, she used to use it almost all the time, like every other single night, and uh, what she told me was that sometimes people with sleep apnea have the problem of, like, if you let it go for too long, you could wind up waking up dead. And well, no, I mean, you know, like have a heart attack in your sleep or whatever, and wake up and still be in the middle of a heart attack and stuff like that. So it is a major health issue. And that's why I wanted to kind of bring it up and see if, you were taking the proper measures to try to get it done. But she doesn't, she doesn't really use it too much anymore. And I keep reminding her, I'm like, you got to use that. See, my mom has the same issue too. She has the machine and she doesn't use hers. And my cousin brought up, if you don't use it after so many days, they'll end up taking it away from you. And then if they do that and you ever need it again for any reason, you're going to have to wind up paying for it, because your insurance won't pay for another machine, is the reason why she brought that up. So that's part of the reason why I brought that topic up. And we were talking about heart issues and whatnot. And I know that can lead to heart issues. So I wanted to throw that information your way.
If your insurance paid for the machine, how could they possibly take it? That ain't right.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking.
No,
I don't. I mean, by the way, I appreciate your concern and thank you, but it is what it is. I'm not in a big hurry to go get the sleep study done. I'm just going to have to take my chances, and when I do get insurance again, then maybe. But until then, probably not.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. But yeah, I don't know why the reasoning for them doing that. It's because if you
I
don't
mean, if you got the machine at your house, how do they know if you're using it or not?
because what happens is it counts different. It's got a counter on it, and it tells it basically it's got a chip
Does
in
it
it.
does it report back to an office?
Yeah, it's got the chip,
Oh,
and the chip is like a sort of a radar type device that anytime it's in use, it reports back to their I don't want to say doctor whatever, but it reports back to them.
it reports back to the CIA if you're an asset or not. Gotcha.
No, not well, maybe I don't know, but somehow it's done to where they can tell if it's being used or not.
All right.
That's what they told us, and and also you got to take it in. I think every so often you got to take it in to get parts replaced and whatnot. And when you take it in, they check everything. They check that, and they ask you general questions. Like how often do you have snoring in your sleep? Is your breathing? What are your breathing patterns like? This and that, blah blah blah, and so forth and so on. So that's why I bring it up, man.
All right. Well, I
Not
got
much.
something kind of related that I was going to bring up anyway, so I guess now would be as good a time as any.
There you go.
Um, it's from a website called undark.org. If you guys have never heard of it, they have interesting articles on there that are kind of truther related, kind of stuff that you won't find on mainstream media per se. And the name of the article is "Hospital Closures in Rural U.S. Reach a Crisis Point." I'm just going to read little parts of it, and then we'll talk about it. Okay.
Sure.
All right. It starts off with a slightly political slant. Presidential candidates and other politicians have talked about the rural health crisis in the U.S., but they are not telling rural Americans anything new. Rural Americans know all too well what it feels like to have no hospital and emergency care when they break a leg or go into early labor or have progressive chronic diseases such as diabetes and congestive heart failure. More than 20% of our nation's rural hospitals, or 430 hospitals across 43 states, are near collapse. This is despite the fact that the rural hospitals are not only crucial for health care, but also survival of their small rural communities. Since 2010, 113 rural hospitals across the country have closed, with 18% of them being in Texas. About 41% of rural hospitals nationally operate at a negative margin, meaning they lose more money than they earn from operations. And when they say operations, they mean day-to-day operations, not well, you know what I
Right.
mean. Texas and Mississippi had the highest number of economic vulnerable facilities, according to the National Healthcare Finance Report in 2016. But as rural health researchers, we were well aware of the scope of rural hospitals woes, which span the entire country. Um, Struggling rural hospitals reflect some of the problems with U.S. healthcare systems overall, and that poor often struggle to have access to care and few obvious solutions to controlling rising costs. So, if 20% of America lives in a rural county, why is the nation so slow to address rural health disparities? Um, and then I'm going to scroll down a little further here. I want to get to this other point. There are no nurses, doctors, pharmacists, or ERs for local farmers, ranchers, growers, and assorted men, women, and children who love living and working among America's vast rural regions. Royal communities and royal citizens are often left with no options for routine primary care, maternity care, emergency care. Even basic medical supplies are often hard to find. And it looks like it's just something that's getting progressively worse. Mainstream media doesn't talk about it. No political candidate is currently running on improving the situation. So it really doesn't look like there's any improvement in sight. And I don't know if either one of you guys have visited a local hospital lately, but I went to the hospital here in St. Pete. I don't know, maybe about it's been probably close to a year ago. And when I went in there, I did notice that, I mean, it was clean, but I just noticed it just didn't look well kept. Like like usually when you go into a hospital, and especially in the ER, everything looks kind of like the computers and the equipment. It all look. I'm used to it looking kind of state of the art, I guess is the word I'm looking for. But it all looked kind of like it came from a rummage sale. And I just was curious if you guys have had any similar experiences or had um, any firsthand knowledge of anything going on in your area or your neck of the woods.
I'll let Omar up answer that one.
Well, I don't go to the doctor often, but I do have to go a couple times a year for checkups for the VA. So I go through the VA, and they put a little clinic. Actually, it ain't even probably 2 miles from my house, maybe 3, which is very convenient because I used to have to drive over 30 miles. But yeah, I know what you mean. It's just a little bitty clinic, and their computer systems definitely ain't state of the art. No doubt about that. I used to build computers. I think they're still running like maybe Windows 7 or something. So yeah, they definitely don't seem to have state of the art equipment in the little clinics, at least the VA clinic near me. But I got to admit, it's quite clean and decent. So as far as places like that go, I don't like them to begin with, but it's not bad. It's decent.
Yeah, and also noticed that in the waiting room, the chairs were kind of tattered and torn. The carpet looked like it needed replaced. I mean, you could tell that they're not operating on a profitable under a profitable window. That they're picking and choosing where to put every penny in this hospital.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds horrible.
Yeah, it ain't like that at the VA. When at least the chairs they're not tore up and the thin carpet ain't tore up. So, but their equipment is definitely older.
I got a question. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to echo. I've got a question for Armor Up, real quick. Can you give the room a shout out one time? So,
If I must, it is what I do best. We got a lone one in the house, Lorraine Lamore sporting a wrench. Bree Laminimo sporting a wrench. Let's go up, see who we're missing. Dave East. Can't forget about Dave. He's hanging out in the house. He said, let me find the comment. He lost a good friend. He had a heart attack at 32. Collapsed in front of friends and couldn't be revived. Everyone thought he was in good health.
oh
Which
man,
leads right into my point. I mean, we ain't promised tomorrow. You don't know. I mean, that's sad. And I know other people that's lost people at that age. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I had a friend that had a heart attack. I think he was in his late 20s, possibly early 30s, but I'm thinking he was in his late 20s. And he's as old as me. So, luckily, he did pull through and still living today. And like I was saying, my best friend, who just passed a couple of years ago, he had, oh man, how many heart attacks? On 3 or how many? 6. 6 heart attacks. And a couple were major surgeries. In fact, the one time he basically flatlined right in front of me and his wife when we had him at the VA, and they had to bring in it was like on TV, crash cart, get out the way, shocked him back.
Right. And that's kind of how these two things tie in together, is kind of like where I was trying to go with the whole thing is um if you're in your mid 30s or early late 20s, mid 30s, and you have a heart attack, don't and your odds of survival are based on how long it takes you, how long it essentially takes the ambulance to get to you. Bottom line, a lot of more often than not, the stuff that the ambulance people can do for you, like put you, in order to keep you, to get you to the hospital, to get you alive to the hospital. Not that you're guaranteed, but you have a better, if the ambulance can get to you before you die from the heart attack, laying on your living room floor or wherever it is you're at, then before you die, they usually can keep you alive long enough to get you to the hospital. But with
And
these hospitals closing and becoming more and more, farther away from where people live, or having to go all the way downtown, people are going to not survive as often. I mean, the person that might have lived if the ambulance could have got there in 10 minutes or less is not likely if it's going to take 20 minutes or more, is what I'm trying to get at.
Yep, exactly. And it is bad. I mean, even around here, I've seen people have called an ambulance, and even though the firehouse is not all that far away, it still takes forever for that ambulance to get there. It seems they got to get the medics in, and they might live 20 miles away, and you know what I mean, till they get the crew in, and so it definitely makes a difference. Speed is of essence in those situations, and unfortunately, people in the rural areas, till an ambulance would get there, they've already lost a lot of time. I do want to shout out Flitter Spark, Flower Dream, Dark Wolf's Den, and Floyd, who popped in the house right after the shout out.
Well, that's cool. I would have shouted them out just to be able to say cool names like that.
Oh, yeah. And that's why it's important for people to at least know the basic CPR. I mean, you ought to at least know how to give mouth-to-mouth resuscitation and heart compressions. I mean, you could keep someone alive. It happens.
Yeah. I used to be a lifeguard, believe it or not. So I took quite a few CPR classes. Now, do I still know the exact memorization of pats, then breaths? Because they change them every so often. No, but I would probably do about 15 to 20 chest compressions and then 2 or 3 breaths.
Yeah,
I would do.
What you gotta do. You gotta do.
If you're doing something, it's better than nothing. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And you don't forget to tilt their head back and make sure they don't swallow their tongue and all that
Clear
good
the airway.
jazz.
Got to clear the airway first.
I was gonna say the way I remembered it is when you're giving chest compressions, you do it to the beat of "Staying Alive," and that's how many seconds. So you do it to that beat. Go, staying alive, staying alive, staying alive, staying alive.
That is the way.
Well, you forgot the
Yeah, you got to go. Staying alive, staying alive. Got to get it right, or you're gonna kill somebody.
Right? Yeah, I know, right?
You don't want them to wake up dead.
Wake up dead. No, though it is a big problem, especially the rural areas. I mean, I got a town a mile away, so I'm not as rural as a lot of places that I drive around to when I'm driving around out in the country. Yeah, there's lots of places that it would take an ambulance probably half hour to an hour to get to them. So it's definitely a problem that, like you said, no one seems to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what I wanted to bring it up, because it's one of those things where it's actually becoming a crisis, and I don't think it's going to get addressed by. I think one reason why they don't bring it up in the mainstream media, and I'm merely speculating here. This is just my opinion, but I think it's simply because they're too busy with all their agendas that they're trying to push. Yeah. They either love Trump or hate Trump, one or the other, depending on which channel you listen to. And Also, the voters. I mean, most of all the votes that these politicians are shooting for are inner city votes. I mean, those are the ones that where you can go, you can walk, you can go into a town and do a rally downtown and get 50, 60, 70, 80,000 people to show up. see you standing in front of the podium, lying, and you win their vote, right? I mean, but the people out on the farmlands and the rural areas. I mean, they're not that it's not that they're not going to vote too, but you're not actively aggressively pursuing those votes the same way you are pursuing the inner city vote. I think that's bottom line is what will win you the election, and you're going to expend all that energy into whatever's going to win you an election, and taking care of rural hospitals isn't going to win anybody an election. So that's why nobody's talking about it.
Yep, makes sense to me. All they care about's the vote. Hey, Vivian popped in the house. Howdy, Viv. Yeah,
I saw that
they don't care
Lorraine,
about nothing but that vote.
Yeah, I saw Lorraine like my comment on the operation. Thanks, Lorraine. I think it was Lorraine anyway. I have to go back and look.
Yeah, yep.
What you got, Hebro? You've been quiet there for like almost 3 minutes now. Did you die in your sleep? I hope he doesn't wake up dead.
I hope not. He's the only one that can shut it off.
I know.
I ain't doing no marathon.
Well, I guess it's just you and me, man.
Looks like it. We're on our own. Hell, that ain't a first. We'll talk amongst ourselves.
Yeah, I guess we can do that. Gloria Gaynor, I will survive 117 beats per minute. That sounds about right. Dark Wolf's Den.
Uh-oh, we really did lose him.
Oh, shoot.
Well, I'm sure he'll be back.
Flitterspark Flowers Dream says living rural is quite often a choice. People who don't want to live in the city just have to apply a little more faith, I guess. Well, that's very well eloquently spoken. Yeah.
Absolutely. You wouldn't catch me living in the city. I am not a city person. I'm a mile away from town and too darn close.
You know what? If you really think about it in the big scheme of things, your life expectancy is much longer with or without a hospital out in a rural area than it is on 5th Street downtown, isn't it?
Probably true. Yep, and that's also true. When you're in the rural communities, you do find out that there is a lot more faith. There are a lot more faith-based.
Yeah.
Most of them.
Yeah, that's a true statement. Oh, sorry, I was on mute. I said, yeah, that's a true statement as well.
I was like, oh man, don't tell me I lost Saji too.
I was talking. You just couldn't hear me. I don't know how long I was on mute, but I was talking.
He was only on mute for a second, but you cut out real quick. I was like, uh-oh.
I was cleaning my glasses. I was trying to read the comments, and I realized my glasses were dirty.
Yeah, that don't help.
No, my eyes love the water, especially when it gets this late at night. I don't know if it's the pollen in the air or what it is, but they water so bad that they get little specks. I get little specks on my glasses.
That's wild. Yeah, my eyes tend to water sometimes, but it's usually allergies, which I seem to have never had before. They're sort of new the last few years. Allergic to everything, pollen-wise, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. And down here, I think I'm just still getting used to whatever it is that's down here. Because everything is so different down here in Florida.
Well, yeah.
It is up there, yeah.
Area, you got a whole different type of, what's the word I want to use? Type of Yeah, allergens to get used to.
Yeah,
Word as
exactly.
Hey, CJ Wood in the house. Hello, Connie.
Hello, CJ.
Loved your last video I watched. I don't know if it was your last video because I'm a week or so behind, but the last one I watched, I think I left a comment. Good video.
I think it was just our last show. We mentioned we hadn't seen her.
Ask him where Connie's been.
Yeah, we were
out.
just asking about you, Connie.
I said, well, I'm pretty sure she's been around. I knew you was doing videos, but yeah, that was a good video. Are we playing musical podcast chairs? Yeah, it looks like it, Lorraine. We just keep rotating our icons around as one jumps out. Yeah.
I've lived both in the city and out in the country, and I would say that there's pros to cons to both. But if I had to pick one, like especially like as I'm getting as an older adult, and it, on one hand, I like the convenience of everything being close in the city. As you get older, not that I'm geriatric by any stretch of the imagination, but I will eventually get there, and it'll be nice to know I can go to the grocery if it's only going to be 10, 20 minutes up the street. Go to a hospital if I need a hospital, it's right there by me. If I need this or that or whatever, everything's close. But on the other hand, I like the peace and quiet and tranquility and being one with nature, and I feel like my health and my whole spiritual being would be so much more content out in the country. So I guess I would go country, even though it would be easy to choose the city for the convenience of all the amenities.
Yeah, I lived in the city with my mom and dad till 6th grade. And by then I knew I was a city person and had them. I moved up with my aunt and uncle and they raised me after that. Because, yeah, I can't do cities. I just can't do it. I need nature.
Yeah, same here.
I need nature.
Something about just being able to go walk out in the woods, find a stream, walk along the stream, smell that morning dew coming off of the grass and the plants and hearing the birds chirp. I mean, it's way better than hearing a ghetto blaster playing the newest rap song that just came out.
Yeah, I'd much rather look at and hear God's creation than man's. That's what it boils down to. Yes, I'm looking at the chat, Viv. I don't think it's a call-in show. It better not be because he always springs that on me after we're live and I have nothing set up. So I don't think we're doing call-ins, but when he comes back, we'll see. I'll have to set everything up, but it don't take.
I think that was her asking if we can do call-ins. Maybe she wants to call in.
Yeah, that's what she said. Is it a call-in show?
Well, if you want to, I think we should. You and I can just make an executive decision. If he would have to come back for you to be able to do it, though, right?
Well, no, I'm the one that sets up the calls, but I have nothing set up. It's going to take a few minutes, as usual.
Well, then I would definitely be on my own, right? Because
hey, there he is.
All right.
Hey, I just sent you guys something that's in the Hangouts. By the way, we will open the phone lines. Everyone can call in. Everyone can call in except for Vivian. Just saying.
Okay.
Oh man, I'll be back.
All right.
No, I'm serious about opening up the phone lines, but I was just kidding about Vivian. I'm just messing with her. She knows that.
Well, if Armor goes through all this trouble and now she doesn't call in, he's going to be kind of disappointed.
That's just saying. He does this to me every show, and then nobody calls in anyway. So, but I'll set it up. Hold on, I'll be back.
Wasn't that nice of him?
They don't call him Armor Up for nothing.
No, he's ready. He's prepared for anything, especially my shenanigans.
Shenanigans, eh? So where did you go? What happened to you?
I was looking some stuff up. Actually, I got kicked out because I was pressing buttons, messing around, and I got kicked out. But I was looking some stuff up, and I sent a logo to our hangouts. And before we open the call lines, I'd like to ask everybody out there, hey, Floyd, how you doing, brother? How do they remember the logo Thundercats? And I know we got a lot of older people out there that didn't never watch Thundercats, but we might have some younger ones as well. I know Tubman Schwing's a young dude, so and Floyd as well. So maybe
that Thundar the other day was kind of weird, wasn't it?
Yeah, she showed me that in Hangouts before she even went on the show. And when I saw that, first thing I said, that R looks weird. There's never been two R's in it. Very first thing I said, because I remember I had some of the toys of Thundar the Barbarian.
No, really?
You said it like, okay. No, but I did for reals though.
But which ones did you have? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. I don't think I had Thundar. I think I might have creatures. Like, remember that weird creature that was kind of globby?
Oh yeah, okay, sure. I barely remember Thundar.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I remember I watched Thundar. Thundar was just kind of like a generic He-Man to me.
Well, he was out long before He-Man, wasn't he? Like, wasn't he out in the 70s?
Oh, okay. I guess. I mean, I didn't watch. I wasn't. I didn't. I watched He-Man before I saw Thundar, but I did like the one you're talking. What is it? The Thundercats.
Oh yeah, man.
I really like that show a lot. I really watched the heck out of some Thundercats.
Well, I sent the picture of Shifty Sunday. I was hoping God's Armor could share it with us so we could see, but he's working on phone line.
While he's doing that,
right?
Explain this He-Man costume thing. That's the logo for tonight's show.
I just thought it would be kind of funny because we're Halloween. It's Halloween season, and I was explaining on our show on Taco Tuesday. When was that? Yesterday? Oh yeah, it was Taco Tuesday. It'd have to be. How the costumes looked when we were kids. You know, they were just sort of like this plastic.
Yeah. I remember you made. Is that so? You looked one up. Is that what it is? Well, is that one you actually have?
That's the one I showed on the show. Remember?
Oh, okay.
I was explaining what they look like. I'm like, well, just take a look. This is what they look like.
Okay.
So anybody that sees that thumbnail will know what I'm talking about.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's definitely like the garbage bag material, like you said.
Sure. And
his eyes though look really dark because there's no real eyeballs in there. He looks soulless, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. He looks kind of scary, man. And I think I had that costume when I was a kid. And I'm going to tell you right off the bat, and you know this probably as well as I do, those masks were not easy to see out of.
No. Yeah. And nor breathe, for that matter. Looks like Connie Joe Wood says she bought a female pirate to wear to a Halloween party tomorrow. Good for you, Connie Joe.
Awesome. I want to see it. I want to send us a picture of it when you get back.
And just so you know, you can tell lots of great pirate jokes by just over enunciating the word R. Like, for instance, you know, the new pirate movie that just came out. Have you watched it? It's rated R. You see what I'm saying? You can just use that theme over and over again.
Well, that's what Thundar looks like now. It's Thundar.
R. Yeah. Uh-huh.
So let me ask you this, Connie Joe. Are you gonna go to?
No, she's not taking you with her, Ebro. She's going solo.
Oh man, darn it! I wanted to wear my He-Man costume.
Oh yeah? I like to see you put that trash bag on.
I don't think it would fit me now. No, I actually have a more modern He-Man costume that's got the muscles on it, you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I got one question for you.
Yes, sir.
Do you even lift, bro?
That again, huh? You're going with that old chestnut. I see it. I see how you go. Oh, speaking of pirates, I got it on SpongeBob right now, and he goes, "Are you ready, kids?"
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. And as
Yeah, no, I was trying to think of one. I just keep drawing blanks. I used to know a whole bunch of them.
well, the Vivian's like, "Are we gonna have phone calls?"
Oh yeah, that's true. I heard they came out with a new pirate toy store called Toys R Us.
Right. Oh man. Are you kidding me?
All right, the phone's set up.
Hey,
Are you gonna put the number up there, matey?
yeah, I'm gonna let's see here. Is it this one? No, that's not it, is it?
I don't know. I'm in the call room. I can't see what you're doing.
Or is
Yeah, I'm on YouTube.
I don't know which one it is, man. I'm
Well,
confused.
that looks right. 96 pin number 96170 armor.
No, no, my pin's 64559.
All right. Well, there you go.
Six
Wrong
four.
number. So
Oh,
go ahead and prank Dan real quick, and then when he puts up the right number,
well. I wanted to have Armor show. Can you share why you've got phone lines open?
You're perfectly capable of sharing your screen.
Well, I know I am, but okay, I'll do
no,
it.
you can't make him do everything. Phone line, share screen, uh, call. Call out the chat room. I mean, you gotta take some of this on yourself, Captain.
Oh man. Okay. If I must. No, seriously.
Says the guy who doesn't do anything but tell bad jokes the whole show.
Hey, that's my contribution. What can I say?
No, I bet that was my contribution.
Oh no, I thought you were saying I tell bad jokes. So I think Armor would have agreed with you if you said I tell bad jokes on the show.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Well, I guess you're almost as good at it as I am.
Let's see here. Go to shift.
we got a call.
Oh, I can't show my proof then.
Why not?
I mean, what the Thundercats logo looks like now. It's small anyway, but
Well, yeah, let's go ahead and take the call and then keep that on tap.
it'll be on the back burner.
Alrighty, caller, you're unmuted. What's happening? Can you guys hear?
Nope.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. How about you, Saji? Uh-oh, he's on mute.
She's a little echoey and a little faint, but I can hear her.
Are you strategically?
Uh-oh. Should I put up the technical difficulty sign?
I think he's getting it figured out here.
It should be working, but for some reason I got to leave my mic unmuted, and that's probably going to cause an echo. I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can everybody?
Can chat hear you?
Thumbs up. I'm just kidding. No, seriously. Can Armor Up can hear me? Can Hero hear me?
Yeah, you're real faint though. Real faint.
Why don't you hang up and call back a second time?
I'm gonna hang up and call her. I'm gonna call back right now.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what's cool about. I guess that's one pro about not having too many callers. Is you can do something like that where they can just call right back.
All right. Well, it's time to do our outro. Hurry up before she calls back.
Oh yeah, let's.
I'm just kidding.
That's like the whole. Hey, who forgot to lock the door? You know, somebody comes in.
All right, let's try this again.
All right.
Drum roll, please.
I don't know. I can hear you, but as soon as I mute my mic, they can. So I don't know. This ain't been working for a while the last few times, but I'll leave my mic unmuted. It's the only way we're going to be able to do it.
All right. Oh, that's fine.
Okay, hi. Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, that's
Yes.
much better.
Yeah, we hear you much better.
So that's is Hebrew. Can you hear too?
I can hear. Can you hear us?
Yes, I hear y'all now. I always have a hard time between your voice and strategically speaking voice. Armor Up has this awesome voice, so it just always comes. Not that y'all don't, but it just always has its own technique, and so I can always tell the difference in his voice from everybody else's. But okay, so I had this really interesting thing happen to me. Okay, and so I thought this would be kind of a little scary for Halloween, right? But I think it's more just God and stuff like that causing it to happen. But I've had some dreams over the last few weeks. Um, this girl that is a friend of mine, she passed away a few years back, and she would always come to me in my dreams, kind of telling me to come with her. Well, as of yesterday, I'd had throughout this last week a dream where she was, I was walking toward an airport with her, trying to pack as I went. Of course, it's a dream. And she's like, hurry up, come with me. And I didn't want to go because I knew if I got on the plane that I would pass away because she's not, in this dimension. And so then another dream I had about her is the bed opened up and it swallowed me through the floor and she pulls me in. Well, I had a falling out with her daughter about a year ago again. She's like a daughter to me, but she's always kind of in and out of my life. And I hadn't spoken to her in a while. And then all of a sudden, after all these dreams for the last week, I kept, feeling that this girl was around me. And even when I picked up my glasses from the eye doctor, the inside of the case of the glasses said my girlfriend's name. So I thought, okay, well, these are just synchronicities. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Everybody with me?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I got a text from her yesterday, her daughter, and she said she went to see Teresa Capucho, which is that Long Island medium, which I just love because I'm from Long Island and I've been gifted myself. But so she said last night she went to see her show that in person, the girl that's on TLC. It says she was the first one that connected with her, and she read me first out of the thousands of people. She said I was able to get closure from my mom and from my cousin Sean. And then she goes on to say, after she moved on to other people, she said that she kept in her spirit telling her the name Vivian or Vincenza. She said nobody connected with that name, but then she went on to tell me that her mother had been coming to her every night nonstop for the last few weeks, telling her to go visit me. Now, this kind of put me in shock, but at the same time, I mean, I realized there was a spiritual aspect about it because I wasn't the only one dreaming it. But my full name is Vincenza Vivian. It's not Vivian Vincenza, and I don't go by Vincenza. Please, people don't call me that. But I just thought it was just so overwhelming, that, and I've always wanted to go see that Teresa Capucho. Do you know who I'm talking about? The Long Island medium lady?
Oh, I know who you mean.
Yeah. So what's interesting, I mean, I find her very fascinating, but a lot of people think she's fake, and I'm sure she's not. She's helped a lot of people with closure to stuff. But the interesting thing for me was that not only was I dreaming about this girl's mother, but her mother was going to her in her dreams as well. And she contacted me, but it was just a very brief thing. I really didn't want to necessarily open the doors all the way. I mean, I'm glad there was a little bit of closure between me and her through some issues we had, but it was interesting. So what was y'all's main topics tonight? Did you have any topics tonight, or y'all just talking about different stuff?
I think just winging it. I don't know where them.
Yeah, we don't really have a set topic. I mean, we were just kind of loosely talking about, um, the stuff we were talking about earlier. But I mean, it really wasn't like a topic for the night. I think we've kind of moved on from that. So, and you got, I mean, anything. It's an open board.
Ever experienced two people dreaming of the same person and messages?
Yeah, I actually have. My wife said that her and her sister, like it might have been my wife or one of her other sisters. I can't remember, but the two sisters, one of them had a dream and didn't tell anybody about it, and then it might have been Thanksgiving time or Christmas time or something like that. And one of them was bringing up the dream. The other one said, "Oh man, you got to be kidding me." They're like, "I had the same exact dream." And then it seemed like what she was telling me was a day or so later, that dream came true. I don't remember the exact details or anything like that, but it was very eerily funny that they both had the same dream and they never told anybody, not even nobody. So I just thought that was weird.
I was real young and I was married to my second husband. I used to, I used to, sorry, I just got distracted. Um, I used to, when I was married to my second husband, we would dream the same dreams together. Like, and one night I was being approached by my first husband in a negative way in a dream, and my second husband was in the dream in front of me, protecting me. And we both woke up, my second husband and me, and it was like instantaneous. He was like, uh, I was there with you. And he named everything that happened in the dream. So I believe that we crossed over into each other's, state of mind during sleep. And that happened probably we're talking like 38 years ago, y'all. I'm old lady. But I think C.J. Wood, she also has very prophetic dreams. One in the audience, she's a friend of mine. She's real sweet, but she has a lot of prophetic dreams. But I thought it was real interesting because I've been, I know that I don't want to go with the person that's calling me to go with them, and I've gone through some really serious illness right now, and I'm dealing with it very well. I think I'm keeping a smile on my face, getting up every day, and the things are just not turning for the good for me right now. I've got some serious tests coming up, and I just was back in the emergency room last Monday for like 12 hours, and my blood pressure was plummeting from the carcinoid syndrome. So, but I'm good. I'm good. How's everybody? Y'all good?
Yeah, it's nice to hear from you. Always like when you call in. I'm sorry to hear that you're having the health issues. I hope things really are getting better for you.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think that they are. I mean, I just do one day at a time. I definitely don't need to go any faster than that. But I wanted to share that with y'all because I thought it was so mind blowing, to me that, that there's been a lot of synchronicities over the last few days. And yeah, I just kind of wanted to throw that out, share just for a minute. And if you got the phone lines open and anybody else is going to call in, I'm going to jump off here.
Usually don't get too busy.
Yeah, but thanks for calling, and thanks for always being here and supporting our channel. We appreciate you.
Y'all busy. Okay, no, I'm going to go. And y'all have a great Halloween. Be safe. You know, I don't like Halloween night. I really don't. I don't like strangers coming to my door and I never know who's in a mask, you know. But I usually try to sit outside and dress as the witch I am and pass out candy to the kids and just try to go with the flow of it. But that's not really my thing, Halloween night. So anyway, so y'all have a blessed evening.
We'll all come to your house.
Okay, we'll have a party. I got
Right.
scary. Okay, so y'all have a good night. I'll listen in on the show a little bit more, and then I'm going to go to sleep.
Good night.
Good night. Goodbye.
All right, later, Viv. Thanks.
Hey, you know what? We should all go over there and TP her house. What do you think?
I don't have enough. I can't get there. It's too far.
Okay, okay. Well, I'm just saying, she doesn't pass out candy.
I'd love to go to that conference they're having. Heck, Suso's going to be there. Dan, Dark
Oh
Wolf,
man.
bunch of awesome people, man.
Yeah,
But that,
Matrix Overlord is even going.
Is he? Oh man,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna miss out. I'll
but
tell
it's
you
going
what.
across the U.S., so I ain't got a hope of that. But it'd be awesome.
I'll tell you what
Hope
I'd like to do.
live streams it, or at least films that people that want to be filmed or whatever. I hope we can see some of it.
Oh yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Or make a video of it or something like that.
Yeah, it would be cool if somebody could do a live stream while they're there. I don't know what kind of internet or
Well,
cell phone service they.
some people may not want to be streamed for identity. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't show their face, so I could see that. But I mean, like, I'm sure Dan wouldn't care if someone streamed his talk when he gave it or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
She says, Dan,
Oh
coming over. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
no, Dan's going to do a talk. He's going to be a guest speaker. Oh wow.
I think so. Yeah, I think they're all speaking. Suso, Dan, Dark Wolf.
Cool. I tell you
Oh,
what we
professionally recorded. Awesome.
I tell you what we need to have is I'd like to have like a Midwest conference. Like I know there's some people that are they're from Kentucky, they're from St. Louis area, from the Missouri area in general, like Kansas and all that. And I know a couple people. I know one person that's in this room. I'm not going to mention any names that's in the chat that's from Kentucky, but I'm not going to throw any names around out there. People from Tennessee could show up too. I think that would cover that area. I think there should be something like that. That'd be kind of cool. Just saying.
Well, you know what? You could go ahead and just start one near where you live.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think even people from Florida could show up.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying you could be that guy. You could start one. You know enough people in the community. You could get the roots movement moving.
Okay. Yeah, but I think that in all seriousness, though, that should be a thing. I mean, they have their conferences too far for any of us to go. And you know what? It'd be another neat thing is have one near Armour's neck of the woods. That'd be kind of cool too.
Yeah, but that's pretty northeast Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
We need something
Yeah.
a little more central, like you said, maybe like Kentucky or. I mean, that'd be sort of equidistance for the people that's further from that conference. You know what I mean? If he was using the middle of the U.S. as a border, basically, then Kentucky area, Tennessee, maybe, yeah, probably somewhere in there would be more centered to that part of
Yeah.
that half of the U.S.
Did I hear another call come in, Armor?
Wishful thinking, my brother.
Okay.
No, but I'll tell you what. One of these days, we're gonna have a burping contest. Somebody brought up in the chat that they said, Armor, they think you could probably belch the loudest.
Maybe, but I'll pass. Thank you.
Oh, come on, man. It's just for fun. What if this? Okay,
Myself burp. I don't know how people do that.
my daughter does that all the time. We're just like, oh man, how do you do that? You're gonna end up throwing out your burping muscle or something. I don't know. It's just I'm with you. I have to have at least 4 or 5 sodas, or maybe like at least something to get those stomach juices bubbling up before I can let one out.
Oh, here you go. Dark Wolf said they have Cynthia Sue Larson, Chris Sinatra, Shane Robinson, Lauren Connell, Pavelka, and Kimberly Lynn Hansen as guest speakers. Oh, I thought so. Scarab ain't talking, or Suso, or none of them. That's all the guest speakers. Still, that'd be pretty cool. That's a good panel. Good lineup.
If I start my own thing, I'd be on my table at my panel would have comic books on it just as well, and they'd be for sale. Just saying. Oh, you know what would be kind of cool is like if you took some of your T-shirts, like if someone had T-shirts they could bring, they could sell there. You know?
Yeah.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
sure that there's plenty of people going to have little booths set up, trying to, provide a service for the people who are there and make a few bucks on the side. I'm sure that's going to happen.
Oh yeah, yeah. That'd be kind of cool. You know, get to meet all your Mandela community YouTubers, and you'd also not just that, but I mean, like, it'd be good to meet one another, meet and greet, say hello, hey, how's it going, brother? And
yeah.
yeah.
Preliminal said something about the webbing between our thumb and finger. Does it look bigger to anyone? Is anyone's bigger? He asked me earlier in chat, and I was busy at the moment. I couldn't type, but mine, I don't think mine look any weirder to me.
Mine looks like this. Like I can pull on the skin a little bit, but I don't think it looks any better. I mean, any bigger, better. I meant bigger. See, I don't know. But I did tell him my comment was I don't know anything about the webbing between the thumb and the finger, but I do know I have webbed feet. Just crickets.
All right, so
Connie Joe was going to call in, but maybe not. She said, or not. Did you take the number down or something?
No, it's up there.
Oh, okay. Well, yes, call in. She said she was going to call in, and then she said, or not. I lost the comment. Okay. What is your plural spelling of matey? Oh, like a matey?
Mateys?
Yeah, well, we know the word would be mateys. She's saying, how do you spell mateys?
Would it be IE or apostrophe S or Y apostrophe S?
Yeah, that's probably the question.
Well,
how do you spell mateys?
MATIES.
Or you could go MATEES.
Ooh, I never thought about that. I thought it was
EYS, like Lorraine spelled it there. MATEYS.
Yeah.
So what's
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I never wrote the word. Honestly, I've never thought about how to spell mateys. I've said it, but I've never thought about the spelling. I would probably spell it IES for some strange reason, but EYS don't look bad either.
Right. I remember I saw in I think it was Dan's chat the other day, somebody was talking about the word lice. If you're just talking about one, then in a singular one, it's called a louse, which is the same as mice and mouse. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Like one mouse is a mouse, but if you have lots of them, they're mice, right?
Yeah.
But how come that isn't true for house? If there's a bunch of houses, they're not heis. Yeah.
Well, they're not a creature either.
Oh yeah, that's true.
All
right, I digress.
She said it's now spelled MATEYS.
Okay. Oh.
MATIES myself, but I honestly never spelled it.
Well, that seems right too, but the other way also seems right. So I'm kind of split on it.
Yeah, I'll just go with whatever that is.
Yeah, I would have spelled it MATIES if I would have wrote it down.
Yeah.
But I've never, like I said, I never really thought of spelling. That's just naturally how I would have probably spelled it. But now it's MATEYS. So I don't know if that'd be a change or not because I don't know. I don't know how you would spell it. But my instincts told me MATIES. So who knows? EYS does sort of look weird. as far as spelling would go. I'm trying to think of another word sort of like that, but there really isn't any.
Here's that's
Well, I
oh.
can think of one, but it may not be politically correct. I mean, back in the day, you had commie, C-O-M-E-Y, and if there, you'd say the commies, C-O-M-I-E-S. So
Why is that? Why is that not politically correct anymore?
Well, you ain't supposed to call anybody anything, dude.
Well, no,
Anymore. Some
I get that.
gonna cry.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Like you're not. Yeah, I got it. But no, I mean that to me doesn't seem like anything bad. Like if you're a communist, you would be called a commie or, a bunch of commies.
They spell that with I-E-S. That's the point. That's an EY that changes to an IE when you pluralize it. So that's the only other example I could think of. Or mummies. There's another perfect example. M-O-M-M-Y. Mummies, M-O-M-M-I-E-S. Or M-U even. So yeah, I would say it should be spelled I-E. That's probably why. Yep.
Well, I'm going to share my...
Most Y's or EY's change to an IE when you pluralize them. The few that I can think of.
I'm going to share my screen here. For most of you Thundercat fans out there, you'll probably be affected by this. But if you don't know anything about Thundercats or are not familiar with the logo, it's probably not going to bother you either way. But here is what it looks like now. Ugh! There you go. And there's one thing that really bothers me about this. If you guys notice it, let me know.
Can you make it any bigger? Because you can barely see it.
Oh my gosh. Let me take it straight to my pictures. Hold on. Oh boy. Because that's what Sandy sent me. So I have to, all right, go to pictures. No biggie. Open them up. And yeah, I can make it bigger from here. Okay, let me go to Whatchamadoodle now and screen share. Hit it again. Hit it the fourth time. Well, there's a lot you got to go through to screen share nowadays. All right, there we go. And let's make this bigger. Let's grow it. There we go.
Bigger.
Okay, it's a little bit pixelated, but you can see it better there, I'm sure.
So are we just looking at the word itself?
We're looking at the logo, the whole logo. But yeah.
Okay.
The word, yeah.
I don't know. I didn't watch it enough to.
Yeah, I mean, it don't look like the same one that I remember, but I can't really remember what the one I remember looks like. I just know it doesn't look like the way I remember it. If that makes any sense.
I'll point out a few things. One of the things is very visible, at least to me. All right, is everybody with me so far? Look at my arrow. Look at this T. Look how the T is like half gone, and it's up against the logo. It's like it's inside, almost inside the logo, like it's eating the logo here. And then you've got the C. I don't remember this C wrapping around quite like this. And then you've got the R, which is going, the tail is going into the E here. And I don't remember this E being like this either. So that's the things that stick out to me the most. I don't know about the rest of y'all. If, like I said, if you're not in the Thundercats, you're not going to get what I'm saying. But even if you're not, you can't tell me, you look at that T and tell me it doesn't look weird. Okay, I guess I'm alone.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't watch Thundercats, so I couldn't possibly have an opinion. I've never seen it, so sorry.
I've got that on the screen now. I'm going to go to my DVD box collection. Let's see here. See if it looks.
Bye, CJ. She's going out of chat. Much love. She said she'll be listening now.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, it looks the same on my box. Well, anyway, to me that just doesn't look right. It looks all messed up. It looks all messed up.
Yeah, I see what you're trying to say, bro. But like I said, I don't have a distinct memory of it. It's just been too many years ago, and too much has happened in my life since.
Okay. Well,
I've lost that memory.
Oh boy, that ain't cool. Okay, I got one more I want to share, and then we'll move on because this channel's not really known for doing, or not this channel, but our broadcasts aren't really known too much for doing MEs because it's like, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, it is. It's in our theme song. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Sort of cover him.
But so yeah, I wanted to cover that one. Now I'm going to go back into what you do. You guys talk amongst yourselves. If you get any phone calls, don't hesitate to go ahead and just answer them.
all right. All right. So I guess he's going to go actively look for Mandela effects while we talk.
Who knows? You never know about the Hebrew.
I was just kind of kidding, mostly. I don't know if they ever made a movie for Thundercats, the movie, or not, Floyd, but it was a series. It was on, like, back in the mid 80s, I guess, early 80s, it was popular. Right around the time, it usually came on right before He-Man, Masters of the Universe. And or right around the time, like G.I. Joe and all those kind of cartoons. Am I on mute? Nope.
Nope.
You kind of were.
Yeah, see, I had whole different cartoons when I was little. We had Bugs Bunny, of course, and Banana Splits, H.R. Puff and stuff.
Yep. I remember, I mean, I grew up, I was born in 70, so I watched a lot of cartoons, from, let's say, 75 to 85. I guess would have been my cartoon watching age,
Nah, Floyd, that ain't the number. Of course it's the number, dude. I'm just messing with you. Yeah, that's
Now we put it, we changed it on Floyd's screen. We made it the fake number.
Yeah, hopefully that's the right number up there. It must be. Unless
Yeah,
it's changed since then. I can't see that screen, so I don't know.
Well, yeah, it's the pin 64559.
Yep, that should be it.
All right.
Yeah, it's 720-835-5825. Pin 64559.
I'm not sure what cartoons were like back before the war, so I get. Well, you said you had Bugs Bunny and what else?
Laugh a minute. That's sad.
Looks like he's back. He's putting up some G.I. Joe.
Bugs.
Crap, I didn't realize I was muted. I wanted to show you guys this real quick. I knew this was around Armor's era of G.I. Joes. Sandy showed me this, and this is the box. This is for the 12-inch Joes that was, I believe they did this in the early 60s and went on to maybe mid 70s, and then the mid 70s it changed to GI Joe Adventure Team, Well, this might have been in the 50s. I'm sorry. What am I thinking? 1959, I believe, until 1970. That's right. Okay, never mind. But anyway, do you guys notice anything wrong about this logo?
Man, it's hard to say, but I sure don't remember the J hanging like way down. That sort of looks weird to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here. I mean, it was a little bit before my time. You're
I think
I'm
I think it should have been even, and the head was way up. Basically,
Mhm.
the J should just be in line.
There's one more thing. I told Sandy, I said, this kind of looks right to me, except like you pointed out, the J being way down here. But there's one other thing here that it should have. There's one other
like a
thing.
star or something.
No, no,
Oh,
that's the newer ones.
oh, okay.
Armor, do you know what I'm talking about?
No,
You see,
no,
GI is an acronym for government issue.
yep.
And to me, this should not all be one thing here. There should be a dot in between them.
Or a space. Yeah.
That would,
Like G.I. Joe.
yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. That's possible. Again, I don't know. Didn't have a lot of G.I. Joe.
And here's another one. This is when they moved on to the 70s, I believe, the action team. Okay, that's
Wow,
pretty
now
much
the J is really down there. Is it getting further away? See,
it.
that
Looks
J's
like
just flipping me out. I know that J wasn't hanging down. That's crazy.
here's oh, wrong ones. Okay, now this is the one. This is the 80s logo here. And here's what I'm talking about. Like
Yeah,
you said, the two
yeah,
dots.
yep.
Yeah, that's the one I remember.
Oh, sure. Oh, I gotta get that T-shirt. Let's see here. What was that? Hold on. Oh, now looky here. There it is again, like that.
Yeah. And like Lorraine said, GI is general infantry, but the joke in the service is it's government issue because you're
Yeah,
their
that's what
brother.
I. Yeah, that's what I
It
said.
really stands for general infantry, but
Really.
just to clear that up for people who don't know. But yeah, everyone says government issue because you basically are when you're in the service.
I didn't know that. That's why they.
I can say that. So
Well, I didn't know that's why they said it. I knew it was always called government issue. I didn't know it was general infantry. That's something I didn't know. See, you knew
yeah,
that.
everybody in the chat says the J looks funny.
But here's the, like I said, this is the 80s that I'm showing now. There it is again. This is an anniversary. This is when the anniversary edition came out.
Dude, I got to interrupt you for a second.
Okay.
Flittersburg said, and we're all thankful for you too, Flittersburg. That's awesome. But then they said, OMG, the G.I. Joe theme song was in my head out of nowhere this morning. I was thinking, why? What the LOL? Now I know why.
Oh wow.
Synchronicities, we call that.
Oh, talk about.
So with that being said, I would like to hear like a short little clip of the GI Joe theme song. That would maybe liven up the party a little bit. Can you play that?
I can, but I gotta say, Dan got me in trouble the other day.
How so?
Well, no, you got me in trouble the other day.
I mean, explain.
On my birthday bash, they did send me a warning when we played the Hot Red Chili Peppers song. So.
Oh, really? What did the warning say?
No, I'm messing with you, dude. It's just a
Oh,
regular.
okay.
It's just a regular warning, like you always get. Like, this is not a copyright strike, and blah blah blah. Ads might play on your video. You know, the usual.
Okay, so no real trouble.
But what's weird is I got it like a week later. Usually YouTube sends them out right away. Like they're on that. They're on it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, when I do the Wednesday Word, I usually get the copyright things before it's even finished uploading. But my live one that I did the other week, same way. They didn't send me the copyright things for a day or two. They must be a little slower on the live.
So what are you talking about? You want to hear GI Joe music?
The theme song that begins the show. G.I. Joe.
Okay, hang on. I'll be right back.
I mean, I'm not the greatest singer in the world, so I don't want to sing it.
Yeah, I'm not singing it. Floyd, I thought you was calling in. Nobody.
Yeah, Floyd.
Since Viv.
So I was listening to something earlier today, Armor. I'm trying to gather my thoughts here real quick, make sure I put this correctly. But it was basically it was a show, and they were talking about they weren't talking about the Mandela effect at all, but they were talking about um, how there's they were still making note of the recent Bible changes. They weren't using the term Mandela effect, but they were still talking about how it seems like there's been changes in Bible verses. And then they were also quoting parts of the scripture where it was saying that when this time comes, that there will be signs for us to notice when time is short, for when it was close to the Lord coming back again, or Revelations or whatever. And it was making a reference to the fact that there would be these obvious signs for people to notice, and then yeah, I correlated and made that into, you know what, that could be what I mean. Obvious, we've already had this conversation, but the reason I'm saying all this in as jumbled words as I'm saying it is, um, what are those verses? I'm sure you have to already know them. I mean, what is the direct quotes? Do you have them memorized, or can you look them up, or can you make reference to them?
You mean some of the changes?
No, the quotes in the Bible that mention that there will be changes.
Oh, well, it depends on what they're using. A lot of them use the fact that Daniel says something about the times and half of times. He'll be able to
Yeah.
change the times and stuff like that. I mean, there's no actual quote that says the Bible's words are going to change and then you're going to know the time short. There's nothing like
No,
that.
no. I didn't think it was that literal, but I thought that he said something about there being things, obvious signs for people to notice.
Well, it says, I mean, Jesus himself says, it comes as a thief in the night. Don't be caught unawares. And he tells them different signs to look out for. That's where they get the, earthquakes and all that stuff. Yeah, there's obvious signs we should look out for. I mean, none of them point directly to the Bible changing. That's they stretch it to make it that. I mean, it could include that. That don't really say. I mean, yes, there's going to be obvious signs. I mean, we should already see the obvious signs, with or without a Bible change. We got all kinds of prophecies being fulfilled right in front of our eyes. So it's quite obvious we're in the end days. I mean, with or without Bible changes. But that could be part of it, absolutely. Like I said, I think it's a wake-up call from the Father to try to wake people up. So,
but yeah. I have to admit, I've come to that conclusion as well. I mean, I try to, you know how you try to intellectually come up with the best, you know, you try to come up with a reasoning or some type of, because you don't want it to be the end of times. You don't want it to, I mean, technically you don't want it to be, catastrophe, the catastrophic end of the world as we know it. But at the same time, so you try to I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is I try to come up with any other logical solution I could come to, but everything always leads me right back to that. There's got to. It's trying to tell me something, and it isn't to change my oil. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And we do have a caller, so I don't want to be too long. But yeah, that's exactly why it's so important to get right now. I mean, we know it's the end times, but it's also, it's, I mean, it all depends on how you look at it. Do you believe the horror that is to come, like most people believe? Or, I mean, they never look past that to see the new earth. I mean, it's, there's got to be a separation. It can't keep going on like this. And yes, the separation's not going to be good for some people. But after the separation, everyone that's right with the Father is going to have a world like we can't even imagine. So it isn't the end of the world, it's the beginning. It's all how you look at things. But unfortunately, we're indoctrinated with end of the world, revelation. Look what's going to happen. Da, 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 da. That's what we get. That's what we get from the church folk when they talk about the end times. How horrible it is. Very few of them remind you how awesome it's going to be. Just get right. It isn't that hard to do, man.
Exactly.
Actually,
And I mean, in hindsight, when I was saying that, I realized as it was coming out of my mouth that I was saying it that way. But that is the indoctrinated belief.
I mean, that's how we hear it. It's exactly how it's said. I mean, yes. Again, it's right back into the fear tactic. Who spreads fear? Our Father don't spread fear. He don't feed off fear. Something does. See what I'm saying? So that's why I don't even talk about the end times. Let's talk about the beginning times. You know what I mean? That's why I said I seldom talk about the end times, because you better figure today might be your end time. Don't worry about what's happening around you. You best worry about yourself, because you ain't going to be able to save nobody else, and ain't nobody else going to be able to save you. So
Very good point.
About everything else, not that it don't need worried about and prayed over and stuff. I'm not saying don't care. Don't take this the wrong way, but you best be worrying about you first, because if you ain't right, ain't nothing you're doing is going to matter anyhow. You ain't you on the losing team. You know what I'm saying? But anyhow, we got a caller. I'm going to quit rambling. I'm going to unmute.
All right.
You. Welcome to the show.
Hi, y'all, all my honey.
Hey, what's happening?
It's Connie Joe.
I recognize your voice from the videos.
Oh, well, listen, thank you for watching my videos. I've got two now.
Yep.
But there was I wanted to let y'all know I'm going to put the link to the video I'm about to talk about. I've got an echo on my phone for some reason. It's driving me crazy.
Probably because I have to leave my mic unmuted. I'm going to mute and you talk and see if they can hear you. See if I got it fixed.
no, sir.
Nope, we don't hear.
All right, hold on. They don't hear you, so I'm going to have to unmute. Unfortunately, we're going to have an echo. I don't know why it ain't working. It works sometimes, and sometimes it don't.
That's okay. Okay, so this video is was put out by Late Night in the Midlands that I'm going to put on my website for people to go look at. They had a guest on there, and I can't think of his name right now, but he talked about, and he's one of these people that would know what was going on. He talked about the D waves, CERN, all kinds of religious. I mean, everything was all put in there together, and he made absolute sense about explaining what's going on here. Okay, I couldn't do it any justice, so it would be better just to go watch the video. But I will put that on the second video I did about the psychic dreams. I'll put the link down there to that Late Night in the Midlands show. And I recommend that y'all watch it if you get a chance, because, information is great, and it's something that you can use or throw out. It's your discretion. And information and education is always a benefit. The more you know, the better it is.
Yeah, I've said that many times. That's why I'm happy to have anyone call in or come on any of the live shows I do, even with me and Dan. I mean, it's all about diversity. None of us are going to agree about everything, and it ain't our job to judge anybody else anyhow. So, you know what I mean? But if you don't open your mind to hear everything, how are you ever going to find the truth? Father's in everything. I don't care what it is.
Right.
He'll speak to you many, many ways. So if you block half of them out, you're blocking out half his message.
Well, there's so much going on out there and so many different theories about everything that sometimes you have to, if it bothers you, you have to kind of back away until you can deal with it. You know what I mean? Because all these changes are just mind-boggling and confusing.
Yeah, they can definitely be mind-boggling and confusing. No doubt about that. I mean, when you realize your reality is malleable, it sort of changes everything.
Well, ever since I saw buildings that appeared out of nowhere and people were working at them, and then 2 weeks later, the whole building and every trace of them were gone.
See,
these are big buildings.
See, and I don't know.
That was freaky. I mean, that's like the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, and I don't know if you ever heard me talk about it, but I did I don't remember what show it was, but I actually had the opposite experience when I was delivering in DC. I had a stop I had to go to, and it was right at the main corner where you turned, and it was always a pain because there was big tracks or dump trucks there, and it was a rubble heap. This whole corner had been leveled, you know what I mean? On purpose, I think they was tearing the whole building down. But it was a giant pile of rubble for like a whole corner of a city block right where you had to turn. And I delivered there 1 week. I didn't have them the next week. I went back a week later, 2 weeks. And brand new building, the sidewalk's done, grass is growing, parking lots, business going on as usual. I mean, fancy like brickwork out front on the corner because it was a corner lot, like I said, in 2 weeks. I mean, it's not humanly possible to go from probably 80-foot pile of rubble to a brand new operational grass growing sidewalks paved. No. So yeah, I've had that experience. It is freaky, like you said.
Well, it's kind of like the same as what I had. First, there were trees and just field there in these two places that are on the same road, were about a mile from each other. And then there were these buildings with the sidewalks and the driveways and the parking lot and everything, and people working in them. And then 2 weeks after that, they were gone and there were trees back there again. Now, that's impossible.
Yeah.
But I saw it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't the only one who saw it. There were people with me and they saw it too. So we're not crazy. And that's just, like I said, Twilight Zone stuff. So something is definitely going on. The Mandela effect, there's something really happening. I mean, it's not just BS,
Oh, it's real. There's no doubt about that. It's real.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I just wanted to put a bug in y'all's ear about that. I'm going to put that in the content, down in the just on the bottom of the page, where people can go and check out that episode, because it's something to chew on anyway. And I missed all y'all, so I'm glad to be back. I just had to take a hiatus for a week or two, away from all of it,
Yeah.
And I love y'all, and I'm gonna get off here now and let y'all finish talking.
All right. Well, thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yep. Thanks so much, Connie. And I'll definitely check it out. And yeah, check out Connie's videos. Like she said, she got 2 up there now. I watched them both already. And yeah, the end of that second one was awesome. Really good message. So check out CJ I guess she changed her name on us to CJ, so we'll call her CJ now. Check out CJ's channel. She's Mandela us.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Do I got the right number on there?
Well, we've had callers, so my guess is yes.
Well, I've changed. I put up some comments and taken them down and went back in and put it up there again. So
Oh, I don't know. I can't see it.
the pin number is 64559. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Good.
All right. Floyd was on the phone. He hung up, so you can call back in if you want, Floyd.
He said he's got to charge his phone.
Got to charge his phone.
So,
Well, Fixing Time said they had a sandwich shop reappear after having been gone for 8 years. A Taste of Philadelphia is the name of it.
wow.
Yeah, I've experienced it myself. It's freaky. I mean, there's no way possible that building was done. And yeah,
I absolutely agree with you, Armor. You know, you heard my testimony on Curious Sir about the building appearing in front of me. It just came out of nowhere. And the weird thing is, well, it shouldn't be weird by now, but my wife didn't see it. She's like, oh, yeah, that's always been there. I'm like, are you even serious right now? And she's like, oh, yeah, that's been there for a couple weeks now. And I swear to you, up and down, that building, we pass by that same spot nearly every day. And I know it was not there. I'm just, you know, and I know you got to take my word for it and whatever, but that was my experience. That was my personal experience. That restaurant just appearing out of thin air. I mean, literally thin air.
yeah.
I'm with you, and I'm not. By no means do I doubt you. I'm curious though, is what do you remember being there in place of it?
I remember the jewelry store. There was the jewelry store. Let's see. I think there was a barber shop. I don't think there was even a lot. Like there wasn't even a lot there. Is what I'm trying to say. Like there was.
So was it just woods, a
There was.
field?
It was like a brick building, and it just
Okay,
appeared, yeah. It literally was. There was no building there. There was nothing there. It was literally an empty space, and just all of a sudden there it was.
gotcha.
We do have a caller on the phone, by the way.
Oh, cool. Get him on.
All right, you're unmuted.
You guys hear me?
Yep.
I'm clear, brother.
Awesome. How you guys doing?
Good. Howdy, Floyd.
How you doing, brother? Armor up.
Blessed as always.
Yeah, Floyd, I haven't heard from you in a while. I remember you were on one of our first live streams we did.
Hey, you know what, guys?
Yeah.
Let me try something real quick.
Okay.
I'm gonna try because I just thought of something. Maybe the problem with StreamYard is that I started the program after I was already in StreamYard. So Floyd, just hang tight a sec, stay on the line. I'm not gonna shut this down, but I'm gonna leave StreamYard and come back in. So
Okay.
All right.
He better let me back in a second.
All right. Yeah. He
All
was.
right. So this is the part where I guess we let him back in, huh?
Yeah, and I do remember Floyd was in one of my very first live streams that I ever did. I think he might have been in my first live stream that I did with more than just myself. Is what I'm saying. Is like,
Yeah, I remember it being in one of our first. If it wasn't Shifty Sunday, we could have called it something else, but it was one of the first ones you and I did together.
was it? I remember me and him doing one. Oh,
If you
sorry.
guys can Floyd now.
I could hear him just then.
Yeah, I love the whole chat room too. The chat room's awesome. I love
Well,
all
thank
of
you.
that. You guys rock, man. You guys are awesome.
All right, it's working. So remember, that's what we have to do. If we're gonna do calls, I got to settle up before I come in StreamYard. But it's working now.
Okay,
Thanks for
for
calling,
sure.
Floyd. Good to hear from you.
Yeah, how you doing? What's going on, my man?
Oh, I'm doing okay. Yeah, I'm doing fine.
That's good.
The Lord's blessing me and all that good stuff.
I
Yeah.
remember from when we talked a while back when we were on our live stream a long time ago. I distinctly remember you were talking about you were having the night terrors or when you slept and stuff. Are you still experiencing that?
A little bit, but not much. I still get that black wave thing that flies towards me still. I still get that strange thing. It's awkward. Yeah. And I am getting strange dreams lately, like really strange. What's weird about that is I'm not the only person that's getting these weird dreams because of the Mandela effect. I'm not the only person experiencing that, and that's a blessing.
Yeah, I'm with you. I've been my dreams have been very lucid lately, and I've been waking up slowly. Like I wake up and I'm still kind of like half in my dream state, half fully awake and conscious, and I can still remember my dream there for for a certain amount of time if I'm quick to acknowledge what's happened and consciously and I think to do it, I can literally re like kind of like I don't know how to explain it, but kind of like do a recap or a review of what I just dreamt. Like go back and remember most of it. But if I don't do it right then, I know I'm gonna lose it. And then even so much after that, when I remember it, I have to think to write it down. Or a few minutes after that, I'm gonna lose it anyway. I don't know if I'm explaining it correctly, but I think you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, I do. Totally. Yeah. Ooh, it's really cold where I'm at. My goodness.
It's really weird
I'm
here. I'm in
stepping out in the cold.
Pennsylvania, and it's like it's 61 degrees here still, and I'm in Pennsylvania, so it's weird weather.
Oh wow. Wow.
But I have came to the conclusion that
My phone.
this is, how you tied it into the Mandela effect. I wouldn't have naturally went there and done that personally myself, but now that you mention it, I think in a way that it does tie in together in the sense that I really feel like I'm being able to remember these dreams because there's a subconscious or there's some type of message that's trying to come across from that side over onto this side, and so I am trying to remember to remember them and to write them down, and to kind of keep for lack of a better word, a dream journal, so that maybe I can put it all together, like maybe a little snippet from what I can remember from this dream, and then that next one and the next one. If I get a collection, let's say of a handful of 10 or 20 or so, and I might be able to piece together what it all is trying to say, or what the whole if there's a bigger, larger meaning, what it might be. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Hey, here's a new Mandela effect. What is it? I forgot the name of it. Oh yeah, Velveeta changed from one E to two E's next to each other.
Yeah, Dan made a video about that about a week ago. Did you see it?
Yeah, no, I didn't see it. What, Dan? The
Scary Performance channel.
Yeah, he's awesome. Yeah. I didn't see that yet. No.
Yeah, he made a whole video about it. He looked it up in the newspapers and everything.
I didn't know he made a video on that. Oh wow.
It was just about. It couldn't have been more than 2 weeks ago.
Oh wow. Yeah, this Mandela effect just came to me recently, like a week ago. I was just going to the store, I have a store called Fred Meyer's where I'm at over here in Oregon. I went over to Fred Meyer's and I go to the cheese section and I see Velveeta, and I just realized that there's two E's next to each other in that word, and I'm all like, what the heck? That's not how you spell Velveeta. It changed from...
I'm with you on the fact that it looks peculiar now. Once I saw the video, but I don't know. I'm not 100% sure that it was spelled with just ETA, because that to me would say Velveeta. So I think that the spelling has changed, but I'm just not sure if I can remember what it used to be.
That's what my take was on it.
DTA, Velveeta. I remember it that way, not two E's. I've never seen it with two E's ever in my reality. Never. It's awkward.
Yeah, I agree. The two E's does look funny.
My take on it was that me and Saji was talking about that the other day, how I was saying, well, if you think about it in your head, though, and you say it Velveeta, it kind of makes sense a little bit, but then because if you say Velveeta, because with one E, to me, just in my opinion, it would be Veta, because you spell vet VET, and what would the rest be? Velveeta. To me, just in my opinion, but the double E,
Yeah, I would love to hit all you guys up on Google Hangouts. I would love to do that.
Yeah, I'm on there.
I miss talking to you guys on Hangouts.
Yeah, for sure.
I think you already got me on Hangouts. Used to, anyway.
Yeah, I think I exchanged information with you back then when we did that.
And it's a long story. I got kicked off YouTube and the whole internet. That's a long story. Yeah. I'm just happy that I fought for my freedom and I got back on.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't even know you could get kicked off of the entire internet. I mean, without saying a judge doing it or something.
Yeah.
Well, we're glad you're back, nevertheless. So welcome back, and we're glad you're here.
Oh, I'm happy I'm back too. I'm so happy too. Definitely. Yeah, the truth is, man, when you speak the truth about Jesus Christ, man, you're going to get attacked big time, like, no joke. It's just crazy, man.
Yeah, but that's just more opportunity to flick them away. I love it.
Yep. Definitely.
Yeah, there's not a better cause worth fighting for than what you believe it to be the truth, man. I always agree with that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely. No, it's amazing how this Mandela effect is into play. It's really amazing. I'm going to be honest. Seeing reality change, and it actually makes you not want to be of the world even more. It's really cool, actually.
Yeah,
it's actually awesome.
It did that for a lot of people, I think. Showed them that the material things maybe really aren't that important.
The 2 Thessalonians 2:4 in the Bible prophecy is happening.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them happening.
Yep. Yeah, 2 Thessalonians 2:4 is a good scripture backing up the Mandela effect.
Oh, yeah. Let me see. I'll pull it up real quick. 2 Thessalonians 2:4.
Yep.
All right. That says, he that opposeth and exalteth himself against all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he sitteth in the temple of God, setting himself forth as God. Okay.
Yep.
I did a whole video about that, actually, how that ties into the Mandela effect quite a while ago.
Yep, it
that
ties
verse
into
amongst
the Mandela
many,
effect
yeah,
perfectly.
that's one they use. And I could see, like I said, I did a whole video about a guy talking about how they use that verse, so I can see how they use it.
Yeah.
But I think that verse is way more important than a Mandela effect. way more important about the Mandela effect. It's talking about the same guy I was talking about in a more recent video that I did. That's the one that exalted
Yeah,
himself.
could you read it one more time? You were kind of broke up when you read it the first time.
Brother Armor Up, I saw that video that you did of that Israeli video that where they sacrificed that lamb and everything. I was crying, dude. I literally cried when I saw that.
Oh yeah, it's pure abomination.
That I was crying, dude. Literally,
Yeah.
I couldn't see the whole video. I'm gonna be honest, I could not see the whole thing. I just had to get off that video.
Yeah, I didn't have fun
You know
watching
what I mean?
it and then making the video, having to watch it again, and then watching it again when it premiered, and then watching it again because Scarab wanted to host it, and I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, the farthest I made it into that video was seeing the blood pour out of the lamb's neck. That's the farthest I could see. I couldn't go any farther. I couldn't see the rest of it, man. I couldn't I couldn't have the guts to see it. It was so bad.
If it makes you feel any better, I didn't even make it that far. I just got to the part where they were holding it down, getting ready to do it, and I couldn't go any further than that.
Yeah,
that's what they're.
That was sickening, man.
Yeah, I'll read 2 Thessalonians 2:4 again. He that opposeth and exalteth himself against all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he sitteth in the temple of God, setting himself forth as God.
So what is that? All those thus and forth kind of confuse me. What's it saying?
Okay, it says, anyone that opposes himself and exalts himself against God and everything that's called God, or that's being worshipped. So he sits in the temple of God.
Worship.
Yeah, he sits in the temple of God, setting himself forth or pretending to be God.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, that means anything that is like worships that this world says of God, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, these are all part of the end time signs that's in Thessalonians.
Yep, you get all the answers in the book of tongue-tied today. Thessalonians 1 and 2. And Amos, too. Amos is a good book, too. So is Micah. All these books, man, they're good books to see the end-time prophecies. But I actually agree with Armor Up. It's not the end. It's like the beginning of life, you know, like the actual beginning, like a new heaven and a new earth, you know. I agree with Armor Up on that. I totally agree. The world just wants us to live in fear or something.
Well, that's
I agree. I mean, you can't watch any mainstream media news anymore without them trying to basically instill fear into your mindset. If not fear, it's a negative emotion. They're either trying to put fear, anxiety, depression, and you know what commercials they play between all of those broadcasts? Medications to help cure anxiety and depression.
Yeah, I was on medication for a bit and I got depressed off it all the time. It didn't help at all. It just made me more depressed.
It's literally living the Aurora Borealis, basically, or Ouroboros, or whatever it's called. Ouroboros, I think it is.
Ouroboros, the serpent biting its own tail.
I mean, that's what this whole world's all about. Like you said, they show you commercials, they show you movies and TV to make you depressed, and then show you commercials to fix your depression. It's an Ouroboros.
Or a scorpion sting. A scorpion sting, when you translate scorpion sting into Hebrew, is akrabios. Akala Bios.
Yeah, I don't speak Hebrew. Don't want to. Don't want nothing to do with their God.
Well, what else did you got, Floyd? Anything else that you wanted to talk about?
I'm actually gonna have to go soon because my phone's at 18%. I just wanted to call in, because my phone was at 20% at the time. Now it's at 18%.
Well, thanks for calling. I wanted to make sure I thank you for calling, and we appreciate you.
Yeah, totally. I appreciate you guys too. It was awesome being in the chat room in this live stream today. It was awesome. Yeah. We had fun in here making belt. I started the whole belching contest thing. I had to bring that up. And then I said at the end of it that Armor Up would have the biggest belch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny.
Well, I don't know. We might have to do something like that sometime. Maybe I don't know if we can get Armor to agree with it, but if maybe we can. Maybe we're very persuasive he can do it. Maybe, you know what? Maybe we'll do something like that for charity or something. What do you think?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was funny when you said that your daughter has a big belch too. That was funny you said that, brother. That was hilarious.
She can. I'm telling you, man. She could belch louder than me. I'm not even kidding.
That's funny. So I put in the chat room, we have a winner, Hebrews' daughter. And then I also said at the end, I had to make it sound like I was in a WWE wrestling match, WrestleMania. Hebrews' daughter. Yeah. That was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I love you guys. Love you all in the chat room.
It is good hearing from you. And like I said, we did one of our first live streams was together. And I think I didn't call it Shifty Sunday at that time. I believe I called it Twisted Donuts or something like that. It was.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
That was a good one. That was a funny one. Yeah, it was me, you, Splatter, Armor Up, and Supernaturally Speaking. It was 5 of us that was in there.
I don't remember Armor Up being in there that night.
No,
it was not Armor Up.
No,
okay, it was me, you, and Splatter, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think Splatter was in there. Sagittariusly, were you there?
Yeah, I was there.
Oh, okay.
And Sagittarius, yeah. It was us 4. Yeah. Me, you, Sagittariusly Speaking, and Splatter. Yeah, it was us 4. Yeah, I remember. That was a good one. All right, well, love you all, family. You all have a good night's sleep. And if you're on the other side of the world, you guys have a good morning. And, you guys have an awesome night.
All right. Thanks for calling, brother.
Yeah, totally.
Cool. Oh, there you have it. That was a good call from Floyd.
Yeah, at least we got 3 good calls this evening.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome. Well, hey, I tell you what I'm going to do here. I've got the song up, but I'm only going to play the song. I'm not going to show the video or anything. So just let me know if you guys can hear this.
Yeah, and you don't have to play the whole thing. Just about 30 seconds worth will be fine.
Well, here by popular demand is the 1980s G.I. Joe theme song. So here we go. Hope you guys can hear this. There we go. Okay, so there you go.
Well, that's cool, but that's still not how I remember it. I remember G.I. Joe, the real American hero. G.I. Joe.
That's how they sang it, though. They do sing it.
Oh, okay.
I
All right.
sped it up a little bit, so I wouldn't get.
Okay.
I'll still probably get a copyright claim. I don't know, but there you go. Yeah.
I think you're going to be fine. Thanks for playing it.
Hey, no problem, brother. And as always, Armor, would you like to give the room one final shout out, and then we can all do our final thoughts and wrap things up?
All right, sounds good. We got Glitter Spark, Flower Dream, Floyd, Fixin' Time, Lorraine Lamore, Therian L. Knight, Dave East. See who else we got in here. I think that's all that's still around. Connie Joe said she'd be listening, but she was out of chat. So CJ's probably still here. I think Vivian said goodnight a bit ago. Dark Wolf's Den was here. Tobin Swing, Preliminal. Go back to the bottom. I think that's about everybody, hopefully.
All right, cool. And we'll go around the board here. We'll start with you since you just talked last. What are your final thoughts, kind sir?
Well, Fixin' Time said, try to find a clip of Fred Flintstone saying, Wilma, I'm home.
Okay.
That should be easy because it's the start of every Fred Flintstone.
I'll be right back.
So it must not exist anymore. That's wild. I don't know. My final thoughts, well, since we got a little deeper this evening, I'd say, like I said before, you better get right. Better realize there's a battle going on, and you better figure out whose side you're going to be on, because there ain't no riding the fence on this one. So get right, get with the father, and get busy. That's my final thought.
Well, I pretty much ditto that. I was trying to explain earlier is you try to rhyme or reason it out as many ways as you can so that it's not that, but the bottom line is it's got to be that. I mean, it's got to be something grand. It's got to be something greater than what any one of us is capable of. Just comprehending our ability to I can't even say it, but you know what I'm trying to say. Comprehensively understand it, and I don't know. It's just it really does just seem that way. I mean, I guess I've just been kind of trying to deny it there for a while, and I'm just coming to finally realize it, and I'm just kind of advocating that out loud. But I do concur and I do agree with you, Armor, and I just I don't know. It's just like I've made the reference to this before. You always feel like you're so woke, and you figured it all out, or you started to figure it all out, and then you wake up the next day and you realize just how much you really didn't know the day before. So it seems like every day I'm becoming a little bit more and more aware of distinguishing between reality and not reality, and what's being what's being hidden behind the veil, and what's being exposed from behind the veil. I mean, it just seems like every day we get a little bit more of a peek of what's behind the curtain.
Yep. Well said.
Well, he was saying, oh, go ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
No, I was done. I was just filling the gap, wondering where you were.
Oh, I found a clip. It's a sound clip only. I'm gonna go ahead and play it. I'm sure it's got to be from the show, or it's got to be at least an outtake. So if it's no longer in the show anymore, then this is some residue. Either way, it's definitely the actors and stuff saying it. So I'm just gonna play it. Like I said, it's just a sound clip. So you guys ready?
Yep.
Hey, Wilma, I'm home.
There you go.
Well, that is it. It sounded like it to me.
Great.
So that's but I mean, as far as where in the show that is, I wasn't going to sit there and go through all the shows. I just went to Flintstone Soundboard, and that was there. So if it's not, if it is a Mandela effect and it's no longer in the show, that's definitely some residue. So
You might want to keep that clip.
yeah, that's true. And that might change in itself. I might send that to you know who to some people.
Not only that, but you might want to like record it like onto like an analog tape or something, because did anything digital is subject to digital manipulation.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah, but don't forget, so is analog tapes and VHSs and Bibles.
Oh yeah.
Says find a cartoon.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Go deep inside a cave and make a petroglyph of it. That'll last for centuries.
I don't know. That's changed too. You know, all the stuff that we're finding now that we never knew existed before, like the drawings of airplanes and aliens and guys floating in the sky and stuff like that. You know, and telephones, astronauts, all those
Yeah.
paintings.
Always existed. I remember seeing them back in the 70s and 80s when I'd watch all those type of shows.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yep. Like 2,000 years from now, some field trip expedition goes into a cave near your neighborhood and says, "What's this? What's this petroglyph say, teacher?" And she gets out her decoder mechanism computer. It says, Hebrew was here, honey, I'm home. Or Roma, I'm home. Never mind. I concur.
You guys are something else, man. I'll tell you what. But I will, if you guys want me to, I'll do a quick search and see if it's on YouTube anywhere.
Now, well, let's look it up and we'll have it ready for a Shifty Sunday.
There you go. I'll tell you what, guys. That's what we'll do. We'll have a report. We'll have that, and don't forget, guys. We have that affirmation thing that we're going to do on Shifty Sunday as well.
Yep. Positive affirmation. And the important thing about the positive affirmation is it's not just that you actually say it, it's that you actually feel it in your soul, in your heart. You actually feel it to be true, and you actually believe it to be true. Anybody can go around and just say any old thing, but if you don't believe it and you don't really feel it to be true, it isn't going to happen. There's actually a guy, like a motivational speaker, who goes around. You know, they love to use these mantras and positive affirmations and these motivational speaker things and whatever. And he uses as an example. There was this guy. He was a retired football player, and he was like 300 and something pounds. And every day he would recite. He would say it out loud. I'm happy. I'm successful. I'm 175 pounds. And he didn't change his diet. He didn't start working out religiously or anything. But every day he said, I'm happy. I'm successful, and I'm 175 pounds. About a year and a half, almost 2 years later, he was happy, successful, and he weighed close to 175 pounds.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Yeah. My wife told me the other day, said, you say that stuff long enough and you actually start believing it, and there's definitely some proof somewhere that, like, in your mind, and your mind is a very powerful thing, and your spirit is too, of course, but I'm saying, like, you actually start believing it, and if you believe it long enough, then it can affect your body as well. So that's pretty cool that you mentioned that story.
Yeah, I thought I would share that. I fell off, so I didn't hear what you said until the very end. I'm sorry.
Oh well, that's okay. I'm not. You can watch the tape later.
Okay.
But if nothing else, Armor, do you want to talk about, add on anything to that, or?
I did my final thought 10 minutes ago.
Oh, okay, okay. I see how it is. Uh-huh. All right. So with that being said, I am going to close out the show, and let me see if I can get my. I won't use that as an outro. We'll just close out the show. So for everyone here on the um, on the Hebrew channel, this has been Hebrew 77, along with Sagittarically Speaking and God's Armor, saying so long, everybody. Y'all have a good night, and what is it Jerry Springer used to say? Oh yeah, be kind to one another. You know. So with that being said, good night. Not playing an extra, just closing the show.